In South Korea, if you tell a lower-class man that he can't afford meat or fruit, he will probably lower his head and stay silent. But if you tell him he is sexually repressed, he might throw 2 punches at you on the spot. Because after the collapse of the so-called simp economy, Korean men did not become sexually repressed. In fact, they collectively entered an era of sexual excitement and liberation never seen before.
No, that outfit is an act of desperation.
Yeah, it don't
and
make
any
no
woman
sense.
of respectability knows that.
It just don't match with how she's been promoting herself to me.
I don't mean to sound like a but I feel like we're in a sassy man epidemic.
Thank you.
Speaking of a so-called sassy man epidemic.
In Seoul's famous bar district, every night you can see countless Korean guys dressed more carefully than the women themselves, covered in luxury brands, designer bags, Vivienne Westwood bracelets, diamond earrings. They clearly work out, and they walk around approaching women everywhere. The bubbly tone in their voices is standard. They open with a sweet confession.
Ever since I was 13, my biggest problem has been just to find the right road to get to that rainbow that everybody talks about.
Hi, I've been watching you for a while. You're really beautiful. Are you a model? Can I have your number? Women approached by them, if they want to, can easily start a sweet short romance with these oppa.
I really have a lot of good feelings.
But the deadline is usually one day. If the girl shows any intention of a long-term relationship or even marriage, these oppas instantly block all her contacts. They vanish at the speed of light.
Everything I tell you to do is for the best.
This is what happens with the new generation of Korean men who, after the collapse of the simp economy, went through a kind of self-liberation. Total deresponsibilization and complete rejection of marriage. They refuse to take on family responsibilities. They don't want to buy a house or a car. Every cent they earn is invested in enhancing their own male attractiveness.
I feel like we're in a sassy man epidemic.
And they do this without any guilt while engaging in adult content.
From a certain point of view, you could call what's happening in Korea a sassy man epidemic, but if you really look at it closely, it just looks like their era of game. Guys are learning how to chat girls up, have a fun night with them, and relinquish all of the responsibilities that come with the long-term relationships.
Of course, for many Korean men, instead of investing in appearance and flirting, it's simply easier to go straight to prostitution. They believe that with low wages, sky-high housing prices, and rising dowries, there is no longer any way to build long-term intimate relationships with women. So they choose to simply quit the game, lie flat socially, and become 7-spotted ladybugs. Enjoy each day as if it were the last. That's why, after the collapse of the simp economy, the sex industry in Korea exploded.
One particular characteristic of the way we do things in the West is using a kind of doublespeak. There is an open prostitution, but you don't call it that. Young ladies say,
So confused when a nigga text me talking about I miss you, cause why you not outside my door with some roses and some money?
But instead of calling that what it actually is, we use veiled words like dating and courting when it's just pretty much veiled prostitution.
In Seoul alone, dozens, maybe hundreds, of places offering 1-by-3 services appeared. In the Yeongjungpo district, the glass rooms are packed, Japanese-style baths, corporate KTVs, everything is always full. The local market became so insufficient for this new wave of male excitement that, after exhausting Mongolia and other destinations, Korean men discovered a new prostitution hub, Laos.
The point of this video is not to speak in support of pros or paying for the service. It's actually about this doublespeak that we use when young ladies go on their backpacking trips to Europe or their girls' trips to the Caribbean, and they come back and, oh girl, you living your best life. But when men do something very similar, it's often painted in a very negative light. And what's of course interesting is that that negative light does not exist in this particular situation in Korea. They're just straight up about it. Hey, this is about business here, baby.
In the capital, Vientiane, there are already 14 new Korean-run brothels, along with Korean KTVs and emperor-style massage parlors. There are direct flights to Vientiane every day, and every plane carries its share of Korean men going there to have fun. These Korean boys even created a slogan: better pay for an 18-year-old Laotian girl than spend a single cent on the Korean saints.
Not a woman's role to help you build your empire, because that's what your father is for. Your father was supposed to pass down something to you.
Men need to date within their tax bracket and stop getting mad that the woman they want has high standards. You don't walk into a luxury store and get mad that the prices are high. You can either build up your money and wait to buy what you want or shop where you can afford. Dating works the same way.
Better pay for an 18-year-old Laotian girl than spend a single cent on the Korean saints.
You got pins going on. Go ahead, Sean, you can put it up. And then the trap. Y'all see it. I'll call y'all back. $2.50 a pan. Or either $40 for the smaller ones.
Charging $250 for a pan of chitlins or $40 for a quote-unquote small doesn't change the fact that they're chitlins. And putting them in a sandwich doesn't change the fact that you're eating an ish sandwich. You could dress it up any way you want to, but it still is what it is.
But that's on the way you at?
Boy, in the bathroom.
Oh.
It's bad, boy. Oh.
Man, come on, man. Don't do that, man. They were talking about you at the party last night. Come on, man. What's wrong with you? Hey,
I don't even, sorry, I apologize for putting y'all in my business like this, but it's going bad right now for you, but. Woo!
Damn.
It's going bad for your boy right now, son.
What you had, man?
Trying to help my crazy uncle out, man. He's trying to start a family business.
Yeah.
Ooh, hold on.
What kind of business is it, man?
So your stomach tore up?
He got a food truck. Ooh. He got a food truck over here in the project.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. In the project by my grandmama's house. I think he got a food truck over there.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay.
Hey, Black Tony, rock.
He said chitlin cheese steaks, son.
Chitlin cheese steaks.
Yeah.
Hey, Black Tony.
It's cheese steak with just cheese, onion, and chili meat.
Chili meat. Chitlins. Did he say chitlins? Yes.
Yeah. Chitlin cheese steaks, son.
Cheese, onions, and chili meat.
No, chitlins and cheese and onions, son.
Chitlins, cheese, and onion.
No matter if you garnish this with a pickle or some parsley garnish, at the end of the day, we all know what this is. It is an ish sandwich. And even if you call it a Philly cheesesteak, it's still a chitlin sandwich.
No, that outfit is an act of desperation.
Yeah, it don't
and
make
any
no
woman
sense.
of respectability knows that.
It just don't match with how she's been promoting herself to me.
How? What does she promote herself otherwise at? This is the picture I was waiting on. This picture is a precautionary tale.
That's a lot of has-been. Well, no.
That's you. I'm glad you said it before I did.
Yeah.
This picture is what you don't want to be at age. And I love Claudia Jordan, but I'm just keeping it real, man. I look at the women in this picture and I'm like, I can't believe they would take a picture together. These are all women who could not hold down a home with a man.
When I speak of our doublespeak in the West, this is a good example. These young ladies will go on podcasts and tell young ladies live your best lives. And from the time that they were 18 until now in their late 40s, I guess, their mid 40s, they can essentially say, hey, I'm a boss chick and I'm not going to settle. And at the same time, they've had different exploits with a lot of different men. And they're telling young ladies how to move in the dating space. And those young ladies are looking up to them. Of course, men in the same situation have to be very guarded with our words, and we have to still call them queens, and they're beautiful, and they're a prize. But we tell men every day, if you're short, if you don't have enough money yet, if you're wearing certain clothes, if you don't have your life together, you're still dusty. And so if that's the game, it's this doublespeak that you're telling young ladies that no matter what they do, they're still a queen, and men, no matter what they do, you're dusty until you achieve a certain status. Well, you can see what the Koreans are doing about that.
But here comes the question. Why, after the collapse of the simp economy, did Korean men not become repressed, but instead hyperstimulated? To understand this, we need to know how sexual repression is created. In short, the state and the capitalists work together to endlessly increase the cost for lower-class men to access the marriage market. Countless young men need to buy a house, a car, pay high dowries, not to mention the wedding party, the ceremony company, the photos. And the state and capital collect tax after tax at each step. But when Korean men woke up, they began spending all their money only on themselves, regaining control of their own consumption. And they ended up discovering something shocking. The cost of accessing sexual resources is absurdly low. so low that many Korean women, unable to obtain security through marriage, began to capitalize their own bodies.
Korean men say tomato, Corey Holcomb says tomato. They're saying the same message.
All women who could not hold down a home with a man. Yeah. Now, did I say something wrong? Every woman in that picture is not able to be with a man, and the nakedest got all the answers if you let her tell it. Is she the nakedest on the picture? Shame.
You know what? Stop.
That's
Here you go.
Yeah, that's
no,
crazy.
but where were they? What were they attending? My lord.
That's the concert.
A bust down.
What
This
do you
is a
mean?
bust
So
down
they-
jubilee. I look at all of the silicone in that picture, and all I'm saying to you is this: our young girls coming up don't need this as an example of how grandmama's supposed to be.
The result is inevitable. Many simply give up. They give up on the game, on expectations, on traditional roles, on sacrifices that never return as reciprocity. And they enter a completely new way of living, where the focus is no longer family, marriage, or building wealth, but emotional survival and strategic individualism. And here is the crucial point. This is not about men who don't want to grow up. It's about men who finally understood they were being invited into a theater where the ending had already been written from the start. Work more, pay more, give more, and receive less. All while the system, this perfect lover, assures women that, deep down, they will always have someone to rely on, with or without a man.
As men from the West, we have to realize that in some form or fashion, we are in competition with the state. It's not just the amenities that come in terms of scholarships and all kinds of bonuses that help young ladies achieve equity in society or equality, however you choose to look at it. But it's also the assurance that these young ladies who live their best lives in their 20s, in their 30s, and maybe into the 40s, know that there's a safety net for women, that the government's going to offer them some amenities to make sure that they land safely. And if they do choose to be with a man and a man does sign that contract with the state, she can use the state to extract the resources necessary to make sure that she gets her soft landing. And so, of course, this means that men have to produce, which men have always produced. But men used to produce for wives, and you were offering him a steak. And that man was saying, hey, I'm willing to work for a steak if that's what's on the table. But how do you get from that steak to these young ladies, these middle-aged ladies here? I'm not saying that they're chitlins. I'm saying that compared to 18, 19, 20-year-old young lady who wants to get married and doesn't have a lot of baggage in the past, and you're going to compare that young lady to these women who are not only saying that they want a man that's a high-value man, they want even more than that. And that man has to bring all of that to the table, and he's getting the equivalent of a woman who's given a lot of free access to men that weren't her husband. And so if that's the game, if that's what you're offering, then why wouldn't guys in Korea say, well, I'll just do the same thing you're doing, and I'll run game, and I'll get my access, my fun time, and we'll call it a day. I mean, many men would love to be a husband, but what comes with being a husband is that decades of provision. You're going to be on the hook for making sure that her and the kids are going to land softly. And if you're going to tell guys that that's the quote unquote prize, and young ladies are out here saying, you got to step to me and pay X, Y, and Z, in order to have the freedom or the ability to be with me, then guys are going to say, well, what's in it for me? And what you're seeing in Korea is something that is starting to spread around the world. Hey, if I can't find what I'm looking for, and you're offering me a chitlin sandwich when I'm looking for a steak, then I'm just going to go somewhere else where I can get a steak. Or better yet, if I'm going to stay here and eat chitlins, I'm just going to pay the chitlin price up front and keep it moving. You could play all you want to, but at the end of the day, they're still gourmet chitlins. And how do you get someone that wants a steak to pay for that? Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. Catch you next video. Take care, guys.